So my name is Nguyen. I'm an associate professor at the University of Virginia in the School of Education and Human Development. I'm housed in a Center for Positive Youth Development, so we really do try to focus on factors that help people thrive over the life course. And personally, much of my research focuses on war and conflict-affected settings and other settings of adversity, and looking at what types of particularly mental health and psychosocial supports people may need to thrive in those settings. It's important to look at that data and think about that it's, cross-sectional, correlational data. You can't really say on an individual level, if we change this one thing, it would change. There is generally some trends where young people tend to report really high happiness, and then in the Middle Ages, happiness reports kind of dip and then come back in later life. There's pretty strong debate on what drives that and whether that's an artifact or how meaningful that is. But there's some discussion that, again, it's partly appraisal, partly youth kind of forward-looking. Perhaps in mid-age, there's a lot of stressors. You're in that split window where you're doing childcare and sometimes elder care. And then in later in life, some findings that there's kind of a bias toward the positive. Older people are more likely to look back and remember the positive aspects of their life. People who are able to survive longer maybe are healthier and so have a more positive kind of outlook on life. You look at so many countries and you look at these trends over time and you see this big dip around kind of 2008, 2015, where the global economy really dipped and things got really difficult for a lot of people, and you can see that in the data. And so that tells me that you see these big trends that really do impact people overall, whether it's global trends in economic downturns, unemployment, those types of things seem to impact large groups of people. Obviously, political instability or unwanted changes in leadership and government can really impact those types of perceptions of how their life is going and how they feel in terms of their future. So we might see in the data these dips that kind of follow these big global trends, and it's really well explained by the models that they're running. So we know poverty is dangerous in a number of ways, both in terms of decreased access to supportive resources and protective institutional structures, increased risk of exposure to many kind of harmful experiences, to the extent that many folks argue that just being raised in poverty is itself an adverse experience because it is such a strong predictor for so many negative outcomes over the entire life course. And if we dig into a little bit more what might be driving that, looking at things like hopefulness for the future, feeling that you can dream big dreams and accomplish those dreams. And that is really quite a bit of function of your access to resources and your access to supports. Is happiness global? We still see these differences in trends in different countries. Of course, so much of what we experience on any day-to-day isn't at that macro level, but these indicators, these kind of questions about how you're feeling right now, we're not telling people what to think about when we ask them that question. And so it's completely reasonable that how we think about our answer to that question changes over our own life course, and then how we as communities think about that question changes as we get new ways of connecting and new ways of evaluating our interface and interconnections with places around the world. And so we see some evidence that earlier in life that responding to these kind of questions is influenced more by our own perceptions of opportunity and future, whereas later in life we see it might be influenced more by kind of a retrospective life satisfaction We're answering the same question, but we're weighing these things differently. Over time, I think it's very reasonable to think that when I am asked a question like this, I'm not just thinking about myself and my neighborhood, but I'm thinking about the global economy. I'm thinking about climate change. I'm thinking about the future of young people in schools and weighing all those factors in ways that they weren't before.